first of all, we define well-being as a state of satisfying and productive engagement with one's life and the realization of one's full psychological, social, and occupational potential. What the reason why well-being is so critical to reentry is because well-being, which began to be researched in the 1940s, and I think it was 1948 exactly, that the World Health Organization said that well-being is more than the absence of illness, or health is more than the absence of illness. And instead, health is this overall state of well-being. And what we saw is that starting in the 1940s and then really growing to quite a bit in the 80s and 90s, was that all of these other disciplines, from disciplines focused on kids in schools, kids in the child welfare system, individuals with developmental or mental health disorders, individuals who were aging, there was all these other areas in which well-being became the primary focus or the outcome to achieve. What we also saw was emerging research to say that even the most marginalized and vulnerable individuals, even in the state of still experiencing oppression, that when interventions focused on well-being, those individuals under the most duress still benefited significantly, and oftentimes even more so, or at a magnitude that was greater than those individuals, who weren't the most marginalized or still actively being oppressed. So well-being is an approach that, when focused on across a variety of settings and contexts and populations, is one that individuals seem to thrive under that type of orientation. So in terms of what the well-being model is, the well-being development model for reentry is comprised of five key factors that promote well-being. So what that model says is that when these 5 key factors are improved, then individuals releasing from incarceration experience greater overall well-being and reduced reincarceration or contacts with the criminal justice system. So those 5 key factors are meaningful work trajectories, which meaningful work trajectories are achieved when an individual has their skills and abilities and interests match the demands of their occupation. It moves beyond just is an individual employed or not, to is an individual interest matched with the type of work that they're in. And meaningful work trajectories also capture the notion that work can be something that is dynamic and changes over time. So an individual right immediately when they get out of prison may not be in an occupation where the skills and abilities and interests of the individual match the demands of the job, but they're on a trajectory towards getting in that type of occupation. Healthy thinking patterns is another one of the 5 key principles, and healthy thinking patterns have to do with an individual's ability to adapt to a range of circumstances, to be able to have communication patterns that suit them, to adopt beliefs and norms that are congruent with the context and society in which they live in, to act from a place of empathy, and really to overall have some cognitive flexibility in their orientation to the world. The third key is effective coping strategies. And one of the things that we know across all sorts of different research is that coping strategies are a key mechanism to positive outcomes from mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, to education, attainment, on all sorts of factors. So effective coping strategies are when a person has a set of activities or skills that allow them to cope with stressors and triggers in a way that does not create harm in the present or the future for either themselves or the others around them. The last two keys are more socially oriented. So positive interpersonal relationships is where individuals are able to engage in mutually beneficial relationships that promote satisfaction and happiness and like I said, the mutual benefits. So it's not just one direction or another. And this is in relationships at home, at work, in neighborhoods. And then finally, positive social engagement is where an individual is engaged in their community in a way that promotes a sense of belonging and opportunities to contribute to the community and also feel like the community contributes back to them. So those 5 key factors combined generate overall psychological well-being and generate overall reductions in the likelihood of a person becoming reincarcerated again. And that's how the 5 key model, the well-being development model proposes a theoretical orientation towards reentry.